We said we had something mega, and this is it. Although, savour the calm of the moment. You can just hear the lockkeeper arriving, which is bad news for me, but pretty exciting for Sean. And the geese.
And they got some geese.
We're at Teddington Lock, and today we're going to go into London on the Tidal Thames. Once we get through this lock, this is the last lock for us. It takes us onto the Tidal Thames on the ebb tide, which is going to take us all the way through into London, into central London, and then we're going to come off at Limehouse. Now, when you see other boat tubers do this, normally they're doing it the other way around. They come out of Limehouse and come through central London and come up to either Brentford or Teddington.
Yes.
And the reason being is that's the recommended way to do it. We're doing
and the easiest.
And the easiest. We're doing it the opposite way because it's harder. And apparently the turn into Limehouse from the Thames is pretty dangerous.
Pretty dramatic.
At that point, because the Thames on the ebb tide is running at its fastest right past the point where we have to turn around and try and get into Limehouse.
Prepare for crashing.
The lockkeeper's arrived. The high tide here at Teddington is just after 7 o'clock in the morning, which it is now. So as soon as the lock's full, which is just filling the lock, I'm going to open the gates, in we go, and then we'll drop down onto the Tidal Thames, 21 miles away from Limehouse, just as the ebb tide is starting, which will carry us at quite some speed down through London. And we're off. We were joined in the lock at Teddington by a big wide beam and that narrowboat behind us. Not sure if they're going all the way with us to London, although that sounds wrong, doesn't it? All the way to London with us. Or they might be coming off at Brentford, which is in about 2 or 3 miles, I think. I don't know. I can't even think straight this morning. I've just realised London's 21 miles away from here, and our expected time of arrival is 10 AM, which is 3 hours away. So 21 miles in 3 hours is a lot. 7 miles an hour. When the water's flowing back out towards the sea, it's called the ebb tide, and that runs slightly faster than the incoming tide, which is called the flood. Right now, we're about just at the point where the tide's changing, and the water's pretty still, which means we're only moving at about 4 miles an hour, and that's with the engine at about 1200 revs. Now, once the ebb tide really gets going, the river will be flowing at anything between 2 and 7 knots, and that depends on the weather, the time of year, and the amount of water that's coming over Teddington Weir. As we get further downstream, we'll really start to notice that speed increasing. If you're thinking about doing the Tidal Thames from Teddington down to Limehouse, you need to make sure you do your research. There's a lot of things to take into consideration. I've been looking into this and planning it for about a month now. You've got to set off from Teddington about half an hour to 15 minutes before the high water, which here at Teddington today is just before 7:15 in the morning. Now at Tower Bridge in London, it's an hour earlier, so high water was at 6:15 an hour ago. But as we get further down, especially towards Richmond, which is about 2 or 3 miles away, we'll start to notice the ebb tide taking effect, and so we'll speed up, we'll start going faster. And we could end up going anything between 7 and 10 miles an hour at the fastest point. Now if you get to Limehouse and the water's too low, you can't get in there. Remember Tidal Lock when we did the Ribble?
I do.
So you've got to time it right, and you've got to get to Limehouse before the water drops so far that you can't get over the sill into the lock. If that happens, you're stuck. You've got to tie up to a jetty outside the lock and wait for the water to come up again. And you get quite a lot of wash from passing boats, so apparently it's not a very comfortable couple of hours wait. fingers crossed, we've planned all this right, and it's going to get a bit more hairy the further down we get. Plane! Each of the bridges, and there's quite a few of them between here and Limehouse, have got signs telling you which arch to go under. So what we're watching out for is those two, well, it says orange lights, they just look like really old-fashioned light bulbs, don't they? And
I'm colourblind anyway.
See some bloke in Victorian outfit walking around with a little lighter at night lighting them.
A lighter.
And that's what we're looking out for, that's the arch that we have to go through. If there's more than one arch that have got them through, we have to keep on the starboard side. That is Richmond Lock and Weir, and you can only get under that bridge by boat a couple of hours before and after high water, which we're about an hour. Complicated, but we're all right. At all of the times there's a weir that raises up and it stops you going through by boat, and if you have to get through, there's a lock on our starboard side as you're going downstream, and you have to go through the lock. It costs you as well, you have to pay for it. It's a right money-making scam, is this river, I tell you.
I'd wait.
It's going well so far. We're still floating, which is a good sign. We have noticed that the ebb tide has started. We're starting to speed up a little bit, but not too fast. I'd say
alright.
We've just passed the turn off for Brentford Lock, which is where you can go onto the Grand Union Canal and head back north. And some boats get on there too as well. But we're going on to London. Woohoo! This is 8 miles in, that's the 7th bridge, and we're about an hour and 10 minutes, which is actually not bad because we thought we were doing about 4 or 5 miles an hour, but if we've done 8 miles in an hour and 10 minutes, then we're obviously travelling a bit faster than we thought, aren't we? Yeah. And we're not at the fastest bit yet, which I'm still looking forward to. The river's getting wider, and it leads you into this false sense of security that you're not going as fast as you actually are, obviously, because we've done 8 miles in just over an hour when we thought we were doing like 3 miles an hour. We're just going under Putney Bridge, which marks just around the halfway point, just over halfway. So we've done about 10.5 miles in about an hour and 30-40 minutes, which is not bad. We're on schedule to get to Limehouse just after 10 o'clock. Putney Bridge, of course, is where the London boat race starts.
It is.
It's the starting point. I could do with a pistol. You ready? I bet we could beat them in this. 3, 2, 1, go!
Go!
There are 29 road, rail and footbridges between Teddington and Limehouse, and you'll see some of the most recognisable ones as we get closer into London. It's really important to know the right channel and arch to go under at each bridge, because with huge industrial barges and clipper boats racing up and down the river at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour, there's no time to change course and avoid an accident if you happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. The Port of London Authority have the Tidal Thames Recreational Users Guide, and we picked up a copy back at Teddington Lock. We also downloaded the London Tideway Handbook, which is a few years old, but it's got lots of really useful information about navigating the river. Both of them give you everything you need to know about all the bridges, what the light signals mean, some handy telephone numbers, and lots of other information about safely cruising the tidal Thames. We've put some links in the video description for the handbooks and the downloads as well, and some useful websites, you know, just in case you fancy doing this yourself. Vauxhall Bridge. On our right hand side as we come out of Vauxhall Bridge is the MI6 building. They've done a good job repairing it since James Bond had it blown up, haven't they? We're coming up towards central London. It's getting a bit blowy on the river. It's still nice and calm so far. We're moving at about 8 or 9 miles an hour. And we can see the London Eye and the Houses of Parliament ahead of us. Oh my god, I didn't like that.
There's more coming.
Oh, we are rocking. That's Waterloo Bridge. 4 miles to go before we get to Limehouse. The speed is picking up, but it's not really racing yet. But the next 4 miles is supposed to be the choppiest, fastest part of the 21 miles that we've done. We've only had one boat pass us, and that's frightened me half to death. This might sound a bit daft, but when we crossed the tidal River Ribble in 2019, I was really scared. The currents and the speed and the width of the river, it was just overwhelming. But coming down the tidal Thames, it feels completely different. I've been to London dozens of times over my lifetime, but I've never seen it from this angle before, and it feels amazing. I'm still a bit wary of the water and the speed we go in, but I'm just so preoccupied with seeing all these sights that I recognise, but from this truly awesome viewpoint, that I'm actually not as scared as I thought I would be. We're actually loving this.
Awesome.
That is just the most amazing thing, going under the centre arch of Tower Bridge in London. That is by a mile, a million miles, our most favourite thing on Narrowboat Silver Fox ever. That is just an amazing sight. This is the bit I've been having nightmares for like a month. The ebb current past Limehouse, the entrance to Limehouse, is at its fastest. And we have to make a turn. Is it a portside turn? We have to basically turn left, do a 180 and come back on ourselves. We can't just go into Limehouse that way because the current will just carry us over and slam us into the pier wall, which we don't want. What we're supposed to do is go past the entrance to Limehouse, make a 180 turn, and then try and come into Limehouse against the current. Yeah. My fear is that the current's too strong and that we won't make it and that we'll have to throw the anchor out. Sean seems pretty confident that we'll actually be fine. Yeah. There is another little thing to be worried about though. On the pier head, on the right hand side as we approach, there can be something called a back eddy, which is where the water hits the pier and comes back. And there's a possibility that even though we're going against the current, the back eddy could actually push us against the other wall on the opposite side, the left hand side, as we go into the lock. Past the entrance to the marina, we've got to turn, we've got to give some blasts on the horn to let any traffic know, so 4 short blasts, all long ones, followed by 2 short blasts. Right, making the turn. This man's a hero.
You're a nightmare.
Everything we read about the approach to Limehouse was pretty much accurate. That ebb current was really shifting around the corner, and even though the turn in the river itself was pretty easy, we were crawling at a snail's pace, fighting that downstream tide back towards the entrance to the lock. As we got towards the entrance, that back eddy that we'd been warned about off the pier head did push us towards the opposite wall, and it took a combination of some extra revs from the engine and a short blast of the bow thruster to keep us clear. We did avoid it by about a foot. Once we're in the lock, we've got to secure the boats at the bow and stern by looping our ropes around the steel vertical risers in the lock wall. Then the lockkeeper closes the gates behind us, and that's when we've got another shock. The lock doesn't have sluices on the gates to let water in or out. The lockkeeper actually opens the gate a little bit and water starts to rush into the lock. It's a bit scary at first because you actually see the lock gates starting to open and you know that there's millions of gallons of water behind it, and then you just see this rush of water coming towards you. Definitely a squeaky bum moment. It doesn't take long to fill the lock though, and a few minutes later it's full. The gates open and we can moor up on the visitor moorings at Limehouse Marina. We made it! Can you believe it?
I was never in any doubt.
Yeah, you weren't. You know where I'm like, I'm a right nervous Nelly. We set off, well, we got into Teddington Lock at a couple of minutes after 7 o'clock. We got out of Teddington Lock at just about 10 past, wasn't it?
It's something like that.
10 past 7. And we got here at 10:38, so just under 3.5 hours. Which is exactly what it says in the book, to be honest, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
It says expect 3 hours. Some people do it a lot quicker. But to be honest, we weren't in any rush. We were probably pushing about 1,400 revs average.
About that, yes.
About 1,400 revs. And it's actually all right until you get to, I would say, about Westminster Bridge, just before Westminster Bridge. It's actually not bad. It's a bit like River Link, yeah, and then you get a boat passing and off we go, forwards and back. And we were really lucky because we came down on a Sunday morning.
Yes.
Which is, there isn't really going to be a quieter time.
I think only 2 boats passed us, didn't there?
Yeah, 2 or 3 boats, and it does rock a bit. I'm still a bit shiny from it.
A bit shiny?
I was really nervous about this turn into Limehouse. Well, a couple of reasons. If you watch the Ribble Link video, the Narrowboat swept away, then you will remember that as we came out of Southwark Brook, the tidal Ribble caught us and we couldn't turn properly, and then we couldn't get any forward momentum. We were just powering forward at about 2,500–3,000 revs and not moving. It was a bit, ugh. And I was scared that exactly the same was going to happen this time, that we were going to make this turn, because you can't just come in to Limehouse Lock when the ebb tide's on, because it literally will just smash you into the pier wall. You don't want that. So the recommendation is that you go past Limehouse, then do a turn, come in against the tide into Limehouse that way. And I was scared that the current was going to be so strong that we wouldn't make it back into Limehouse, that we would just slowly...
It did take the back end round a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, but as you saw from the footage, I think Sean did an amazing job. And it's a good job he can stay calm, because I'm just flapping like a right un.
I'm trying to steer away and he's shouting and going, do this, do that, do this.
And it's as you turn and you come into the lock, it is a bit hairy because that back eddy was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
So Sean was doing everything right, but that back eddy was just pushing the
front
back end.
No, it pushed the front end,
right,
and then the downstream outgoing tide was pushing the back end, so it was twisting me.
So yeah, but he didn't touch the sides on either side, which is brilliant. It's a miracle. It's not a miracle.
No, it's
just
skill.
Like calm, aren't you? Cool and collected. Look at him. He's all smarmy about it too, isn't he? It's actually lovely. I don't know if it's because it's still quite early on Sunday morning.
Yeah, I think it is.
But it is really nice. We saw some YouTube video of some rabble down here a few weeks ago, so I'm hoping it stays calm. it's like an adrenaline rush and it's over and you're still kind of buzzing and it's like, well, what can we do now?
Let's do it again.
You want to do it again?
Let's do it again.
What, like now?
Oh no, can't do it now because the tide's out. We need to wait for the tide to come back in. Or, if you know what I mean, for the right time of the tide.
Shall we be the first ever narrowboat YouTubers? Not only to come from Teddington into Limehouse, but to go back again on the same day. How mad is that? Shall we do that?
Yeah, come on.
I need to put that like really butch deep voice on that goes, to be continued.
To be continued.
Shall we do it?
Yes, let's do it.
We'll get some dinner, we'll wait for the tide to turn round, and then we'll go back. But we're going to come off at Brentford, aren't we?
Yeah.
I think, if we do that.
Yeah, but I'm not going all that way up to Teddington
No, we'll
again.
come off at Brentford, back onto the Grand Union. Is that a plan? Shall we actually do that?
Let's do that, yeah.
Right, so you know what's going to happen next week. I can't believe we're doing this. Are we seriously going to do this?
Yeah, we are.
Right, well, you know what next week's vlog's going to be about, don't you? If you've enjoyed this one and you're not already subscribed to the channel, there's a button down in the corner of the screen. If it isn't, it means you're watching on a telly. Posh people.
Posh people.
So subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Please give this video a like, give it a big thumbs up, that would help us a lot. And then hit the notifications bell. YouTube will let you know every time we release a new vlog. It's every Friday at 4 PM in the UK.
You should know by now.
If you want to support the channel, there is a link on our homepage on YouTube. It's called the join button, click that. Or you can also do it via Patreon. There's a link above Sean's head. Again, if you're watching on a TV, there isn't. There's a link. There's a link on a computer or on a smartphone. Do it that way.
Yeah, my dad says I can't see it.
Right, we better check the engine and get ready to turn around.
We had to.
We'll see you next week. Ta-ra.
Ta-ra.
You can do this one. Welcome to the Ribble Link times 1000, which it gives it a yeah.
That's what it does. Whoa. We zoomed in too
Oh
much.
my god. Jeez, just look at, oh no. I'm not liking this now. I need some cat tranquilizers or something. So we've passed the entrance to the marina.
Don't panic.
We're not moving, Sean.
We are moving.
Sure we're moving?
Yes, I'm sure we're moving.
I would just watch this back eddy, yeah? He's got like an involuntary ping erection on your head. Got me saying to you, aren't it?
Well then.